Right, this is my first out of the box ever. Reason I'm doing this, I went on YouTube looking for an out of the box how to use Jesmonite. Couldn't find one, so I thought, well, here goes, let's do one. This is the starter kit from Polysil, one of the UK dealers, and what I'm going to do is, first of all, we'll have a look what's in the box, and then I am going to move on, either in this video or the next one, to actually using it on some of the Pepakura that I've done. So, we're starting out with some small bottles. As I understand it, that's black pigment. As I understand it, you can add all sorts of additives to Jesmonite, which include metals and sandstones, and if you look at the website, it shows you all sorts of things they've done. That's some of the pigment code or caode. We've got some AP wax, which I understand this is for mould release. Some Thixotrope to thicken it all up. We've got some 13mm chopped strands of fiberglass. Then some yellow sandstone additive. The main AC100 liquid section with the actual instructions taped to the back, and then the big carton of powder, and finally some fiberglass matting, which it's one of the new ones. Over the years I've done car repairs, and this seems to have like a cross structure in it. It's like a cross weave, which is rather interesting. You think this is probably going to be a lot stronger than the old-fashioned straight 90 degrees matting. So that's what you're getting in your box, 65 quid. Right, so I've taken all the items out of the box. The first thing we're going to do is, this is to anybody who recognises it, a ODST helmet from the Halo3. I made that using the Pepakura yesterday, and what I want to do is, working inside initially, just put nothing more than a coating on, what they call a gel coat, which is just a bit thicker than normal, so that it just gives the cardboard a basic bit of strength before I start adding the fiberglass, not wanting to risk knocking the shape out by the, when it comes to actually stuffing the fiberglass in. Again, not knowing just how hard or soft this Jesmonite is, I'm going to do a very small mix to start with. What we're going to do is, using the plastic cups so that we can reuse them if possible, if not throw them away at no great loss. I'm going to start out with 50 grams. So we'll start out with a teaspoon and a bit. That's already 62. So that's 51. Trying to get it as near as possible, working on the basis that these are chemicals, and the more accurate you are, the better. Right, so we've got 50 grams of the powder. Now going to pour out 20 grams of the liquid. I've got the Thixotrope there as well, just in case, having mixed it, it does need thickening up. Again, not knowing how much I need, I'm going to guess it there. That's 39 grams already. And pour a bit back. 35. 32. Oh, like this, it's a lot heavier than I expected it. 26. Now I'm actually looking at this and feeling like there's not enough there to make a good mix. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to change my mind mid-flow and double this and take this to 40. And double up the weight of the powder. Because it's like anything else. If you have too small a mix, you're going to end up with a situation that you lose comes more in the brush than you're actually getting on the job. Right, now then, so we're exactly 40 grams there. So working on the 2.5 increase, that now needs to become 100. It's 95. And just tip 201, 99. Yeah, it's interesting, you don't need a lot for it to actually very quickly become heavy. Okay, so we'll take the scales out of the way, and we've got some disposable brushes. Now again, I genuinely don't know how much of the thixotrope I'm going to need, but what I'm going to do is using a second plastic spoon, if I do need it, actually use the handle of the spoon to drip some in. The instructions recommend that you add the powder to the liquid. And again, allowing for the fact that we only have between 8 and 15 minutes, I'm not wanting this to take too long. So I'm going to start by putting about half the powder in, just see how well that feels like it's going to mix to start with. Which it doesn't feel like it's done too badly, that feels like it went in fairly well, so we'll risk adding the rest and hope that it doesn't become a quagmire. Now initially, that's gone very pasty, like a heavy batter. I'm hoping, as part of the instructions say to get rid of all the lumps, which it does say you're supposed to use a bladed mixer, which for a small amount like this isn't really an option. Well, that's feeling like the lumps are disappearing, and like I say, got a consistency roughly of what I would call a fish and chip batter. Now again, it may be deceptive, it actually does start to look a bit watery, so I am going to take some of the thixotrope and try dribble in. That's probably about the size, I don't know what you would call that. Oh no, that's made such a difference. This has gone to more like a heavy paste. I'm going to risk a bit more of this thixotrope, I'm having fun. So I would imagine, if I was trying to explain how much I put in, pouring it on the surface, the actual, both those blobs were about 10 millimeters across. Now that really has thickened up. So let's get an idea what it's like to actually spread this inside the helmet. So as you can see, that has really become quite heavy, and I've got to say, because it is heavy, it's going onto the helmet, and I don't get the feeling that it's moving round. I get the feeling that I'm actually getting quite a nice coating on there, which in itself will add quite a bit of strength to the helmet before we start adding the fiberglass. Now I'm working on the inside initially, partly because I've never used the Jesmonite before, and of course with it being a water-based resin, up to press I've only ever used your classic fiberglass plastic resins, which these days, as you can appreciate, are very much frowned upon, particularly in education, which is where I'm intending these projects to be used.